Hello and welcome to a 3v3 cast on Lyris Jungle Gate. Starting off, we have Black Label playing as an Orc Commando Knob in the top side of the map. We have boxes in mid, which isn't his actual name, it's just a load of boxes because it doesn't support Korean text, which is what it's actually meant to be. Playing as an Inquisitor in the center, and even if I could see the Korean writing, I have no idea on how to pronounce it, but if you tell me how to pronounce your name, I will make sure to learn it for the future. And finally, we have Toy Town playing as a false commander in the bottom side of the map with a discolored ultramarine color scheme. Finally, for the red team though, we have Bill in the bottom lane going to be fighting over the contested power and over the natural power points on the map. We also have triple Wipple Nipple Sipple playing as a warp spider Exarch in the center of the map, going to be facing the Inquisitor, probably going to be coming up towards the top side of the map quite a bit to help out his teammate, who is going to be Zeno playing as a force commander in the top side with a red ultramarines recolored color scheme. Already a little bit of action down in the center of the map. The Sentinel taking a lot of damage in order to try and get a decap on the power in the center of the map. Inquisitor having already taken quite a bit of damage here, going to engage some Banshees, but the Banshees tries to engage the Guardsman, but the Sentinel does have its stomp ability coming in just now, but the Banshees gain stun there, but still able to remain in the fight for a little bit longer, actually knocking over the Inquisitor there with the domino knockback against those Guardsmen. And Dire Avengers pushing in without any green cover whatsoever, going to find themselves not necessarily outgunned, but they're definitely not going to be very efficient fighting without any green cover whatsoever. The Guardsmen will bleed a few models, but the Dire Avenger models are so much more expensive to lose in comparison. Meanwhile, the Warp Spider not behind any green cover whatsoever, not behind any yellow cover either. The Sentinel is just sitting very far forward, picking up these Dire Avenger models, and they're going to cost triple so much in terms of resources. I'm just going to refer to him as triple for the remainder of the game. You know, on the top side, the Commander Knob actually getting special there by the Force Commander. Double shooters inside this building here. These Tactical Marines need to buy a flame as soon as possible. A very fast flame, and that could mean a wipe on a single squad of those shooters, given how much damage a flamer will do, given how many models are inside that building. But these Tactical Marines though, able to force the shooters out of the building, just going to scare them off by being in the area. The threat of a flamer is too great to actually remain inside the building, waiting for these sluggers to come in, and the Force Commander is nowhere to be found, so the Tactical Marines will retreat away. And on the bottom side of the map, Toy Town going to go for double snipers against the Plague Champion. Plague Champion does struggle against double snipers quite a bit in the sense that he has no mobility boost like the Chaos Lord or the Sorcerer. He is a very slow commander, has to rely on raptors if he actually wants to engage those scouts or try and force them off, or has to rely on pushing with a massive healing bonus at the same time. But these scouts definitely paying for themselves, picking off model after model against these heretics, doing a lot of damage, a significant amount to the CSM, and Bill opting for Havocs. Really must be regretting that choice right now. Two sniper models can easily pick off a Havoc model if they target the same model. And he's just going to be forced off ever so slowly, and Toy Town can just get a Flamer squad on his Tactical Marines and burn down the Journeys of Farm and easily secure bottom in tier 1. You know, the Inquisitor going to go for the crossbow pistol, extremely good choice against Eldar. Very nice in combination with the spotters. You can always knock the Guardian Weapons team away closer towards the Inquisitor and combine it with the crossbow to snare it down so it can't actually reset up for the remainder of the engagement. But the Inquisitor going a little bit too far here, is actually going to use the snare on the Banshees instead. Banshees unable to move further forward, but the Guardsmen are suppressed and they are unable to actually fire at the Banshees, and Sentinel is actually going to fall down in this engagement. Banshees with that power melee. No, the Sentinel does manage to get out there, but it decides to stop once again for some repairs, and the Banshees not pushing further forward. These Dire Avengers and the Warp Spider focusing down the Force Commander instead of killing that Sentinel. You know, these sniper scouts getting a little bit caught out there by the Plague Champion. This Force Commander getting caught out even more so. He is definitely going to go down here. The damage over time from the Plague Champion is far too much. In fact, doesn't even get a chance to retreat away before getting sync killed there by the Aspiring Champion on a Heretic squad. A grenade onto the Sentinel. Grenade is extremely effective against the Sentinel, surprisingly, given that he is heavy infantry, and heavy infantry does take bonus damage from grenades. But in mid, Plague Champion pushing far forward though with his Eldar teammate. Dire Avengers is trying to fleet of foot into the Sentinel, but when you use fleet of foot you do get reduced damage, and the Inquisitor coming in with the crossbow pistol can snare down these Dire Avengers, but doesn't even need to do so. The Dire Avengers unable to even chase further forward. That crossbow pistol though doing some significant damage. Does have 35 piercing damage. And always has the crippling volley as well to lock people out of green cover so that you can actually get as much damage onto them as possible. But in combination with the sponsors, you can always knock people away from green cover and then you lock them down, and that forces them into a tree, or if it forces them into a fight where you should have the advantage because they have no cover whatsoever and you have the better positioning overall. The heavy weapons team is coming out here for the Inquisitor. Could push in further forward. These Dire Avengers are going to pull away, in fact. The double Dire Avengers could try and get a grenade onto the heavy weapons team, given that it is very susceptible to AoE abilities such as the plasma grenade. It's going to be very difficult if this heavy weapons team is positioned well for them to actually get close enough to toss a grenade down. You know, on the top side, the generator farm does remain up, but it looks like Zeno is doing a good job of forcing the Black Label off on the top side in Tier 1. Now players are starting to take up to Tier 2, but the entirety of blue team have already started. Meanwhile, only Zeno for the red team he's the only one who has actually started so far. The other red team members look like they've spent quite a bit in power in Tier 1 and will have to wait a little bit to actually take up. Meanwhile, Warspire teleporting in very aggressively here, trying to force off these looters. Shotgun Blast also comes in. These looters are definitely unset up, but these scouts taking a lot of damage are forced off. The Warspider is forced off as well. The sluggers are coming in, providing melee dominance in this engagement, and the looters are now set up, now going to try and do what they can, but the shotgun on the Kommando knob already. Very nice upgrade against Eldar, not seen as much against the Force Commander or against other Space Marine units, but the Shotgun Blast is so powerful against our Avengers, can bring him down to a quarter health of a single Shotgun Blast. Even more significant against IG or other races. Against Eldar in particular is going to be devastating. These Dire Avengers trying to go far forward here just to throw a grenade, and it's not going to work out for them. They bleed a lot of models down to just the Exarch only now. And this Shooterboy squad is very low here as well for Black Label. Black Label should probably consider getting 2 Shooterboy knobs, given that he's now Tier 2. Shooterboy knob does provide a 15% damage boost to the squad when you hit Tier 2. You know, Raptors jumping in onto these Sniper Scouts with the Aspiring Champion in Tier 2. The Power Fist will be so useful at picking off these models, and these models do cost power to reinforce with the Sniper upgrade. But these Raptors unable to even get a model there, very unfortunate for a build there. Meanwhile, in the bottom here, there's actually a flank coming in from IG, but IG not the strongest in terms of just killing units on retreat there, but able to take down a CSM model. The smoke shell going down, which isn't actually needed given that they're already close enough to fire at range with the smoke shell activated, and Flamer Tactical Marines are aiming to burn down this generator farm. The Wolf Spider providing support to Zeno in the top side. 372 VPs to 473, red team ahead in VP still, and look fairly dominant right now with their push against the power and their VP lead. Our stick bombs for the Kommando knob very effective at forcing off those devastators. Had the Kommando knob gone a bit closer, the grouping on those stick bombs would have been a bit closer and would have had a better chance of actually wiping the squad rather than just forcing them off. You know, Banshees are forced up in the sense double Dire Avengers using the Embolden ability. Don't actually see that often enough. A lot of players tend to forget to use the Embolden ability in Tier 2, which does provide 20% damage resistance and 20% extra damage as well to the squad. The Spider taking a lot of damage here. If the Inquisitor can get in with Hammer of the Witches, he will be dead. The Water Spider not even needed. The Water Spider will just fall down in Hammer of the Witches. It did get cancelled there by the Inquisitor because Water Spider got out of range there for just a second. You know, on the top side, that Commando knob is definitely going to fall down to that grenade. Wow, that grenade doing a lot of damage. But the Force Commander did fall down at the same time, and Zeno will have to wait for a resurrection from one of his teammates. You know, on the center of the map, Bill, still no Aspiring Champion for these Raptors. Raptors really do shine in Tier 2 with the Aspiring Champion. The Power Fist, such an effective upgrade, especially against these Sniper Scouts. If you can bleed them constantly, it's going to prevent Toy Town from actually taking up to Tier 3 because of the amount of power that the models do cost to reinforce, which I believe is 6 power. It is quite expensive. And Raptors will gain so much experience from just picking off these scout models on a constant basis as well. The Power Fist is almost a guaranteed kill if you actually land on top of the scout squad. And very effective against the Force Commander as well when he does not have the Battle Cry activated. The Demon Fury doing 125 melee damage to a unit. It's very effective at killing off single targets on retreats as well. Meanwhile, these heretics do need to avoid the Force Commander at all costs. Thunderhammer with his AoE damage is so effective against heretics who have so many models within the squad. 9 models with the Aspiring Champion, but at least the Aspiring Champion does provide a health bonus to those existing models, providing it with enough health to actually survive a bit more against this Force Commander. Meanwhile, on top side, there's a Guardsman squad getting forced off there. Only the Commissar is alive in that squad. Meanwhile, another P-Dev shot is brutal on top of the Guardsman and the Spotters. There needs to be a bunker down top so that the IG player can reinforce. The Sentinel also falling down in this engagement as well. Meanwhile, some Hide Boy Sluggers are going to be pushing in. The Devastator squad does need to be careful. A point blank or an attempted Devastator hit is actually going to miss completely there. And now the Sluggers have revealed themselves. Going to go after the Plasma Devastators. 65 power melee damage on that Slugger Boy knob. But the Sluggers revealing themselves a little bit too early there. Don't get the jump that they need to actually try and wipe the squad. You know, Tactical Marines trying to get a nice retreat path there. I need to go back the complete opposite way and meet these Sluggers. But not going to lose any models here. But it looks like the Sluggers could go in for a power bash. You know, on the bottom side there is a Chaos Dreadnought and also a Wraith Lord here. Inquisitor has made her way down with her Inferno pistol, very effective against vehicles with its Melsa damage. Force Commander though just jumping in, does need to be a little bit careful. Surrounded by walkers, there's a risk that he could go down, but the Inquisitor should be able to get an easy res. These Dire Avengers though, what are they doing? They're just running out into the open fire from the Guardsman, and that Warlock leading the Dire Avengers squad will be able to barely get away there with 8 HP. Meanwhile, this Wraith Lord has potentially overextended there. The Inquisitor going to chase down the Inferno pistol, which does have fire on the move and does have the Judgment on top of it as well. The Chaos Dreadnought is going to come in. Plasma Guardsmen do offer some support to the Space Marine Dreadnought, and the Plague Champion coming in with the Plague Fist could give some help as well. Space Marine Dreadnought is taking quite a lot of damage from both walkers at the same time. It needs to focus down on Wraith Lord. It is the easier targets, the squishier targets, the easier one to kill. The Judgment is going to go off, and Raptors are just taking model losses there. The Aspiring Champion is the only one remaining alive. The Chaos Dreadnought is desperately trying to chase down here. It will go down. The Plague Champion also coming in for some assistance. And without its Blood Rage ability, the Space Marine Dreadnought should easily be able to tear this one down. Down to just 41 HP. The Plasma Guardsmen in the end may have to be the ones to finish it off. It's on 4 HP. Plasma Guardsmen finishing off a Khorne Dreadnought by themselves. Or said by themselves, after the Space Marine Dreadnought had already done all the work. That's a massive loss there for Bill. Losing their Khorne Dreadnought is 150 power. That's enough to take up to tier 3 down the drain. Not to mention the requisition costs as well of Line 1. Meanwhile, for Red Team, things are looking very bright for them. 247 VPs to 456. With one of their players also going tier 3 at the same time. But that Khorne Dreadnought loss in the bottom could turn the tide in the bottom there between Toy Town and Bill. Meanwhile, Banshees are going to bash the bottom side, so as I say, if the Khorne Dreadnought is a massive loss, you got Banshees tearing blue team's Generator farm down a new one. But they actually decided to leave that final Generator. For whatever reason, the Eldar player could have easily killed it. It would have been worth the Banshee model loss, or even 2 model losses, given that they wouldn't have had that extra power income for a little while. And topside there are Terminators out on the field now for Zeno. Terminators with 33 DPS roughly per Storm Bolter per model. Very effective, extremely effective in fact against infantry. Can be upgraded with the Assault Cannon, which will provide them with 60 piercing damage. Can be upgraded with a Heavy Flame that will provide them with, I can't actually remember the exact number, but there is so much damage. It's the highest AoE damage in the game by far against infantry, or I would have thought so anyway. The Heavy Flamer, with its massive spread, can do some significant damage. Some CSM there, gonna get forced off. Meanwhile, Raptors down to just the Aspiring Champion, 114 HP, and in the top side, things are all kicking off. Stick Bombers desperately trying to get away, but the Force Commander is here on the retreat path with that Thunderhammer. Doesn't actually get the hit that he needs. Luce is gonna enter the building, going to regret that with Terminators and Scouts here on the field. The Force Commander on the bottom of that grenade actually walks into the building when the Luce is not even left. Scouts entering the building. Terminator's going to try and enter the building, but that building can only hold so many units. Meanwhile, the Inquisitor in the center of the map, they're going to get tossed aside, or got dropped on the ground rather, by that Wraith Lord. Banshees and Wraith Lord able to kill the Inquisitor. The Inferno pistol not most effective at close range combat, although with the ranged weapons from either the crossbow or the Inferno pistol, the Inquisitor does get to keep her melee prowess. She does get to keep her melee damage and the same melee weapon that she uses. Meanwhile, heavy weapons team gonna get forced off, and tactical marines with a flamer banshees coming in as well. There's just so much anti-infantry, in the top side of the map, and blue team are just falling behind in VPs. Red team are massively ahead in VPs by an extra 250. These Terminators still no upgrade on them. Yeah, I think we'll most likely see the Cyclone missile launcher, but given that IG is helping out top quite a bit, we could see the heavy flamer and some aggressive Terminator play here. If the Terminator, or if Zeno rather, gets a Librarian out, could see the Veil of Time to actually let Terminators go in very aggressively. The phase shift onto these scouts here does give them 40% damage resistance, making it so they didn't take any damage from that grenade whatsoever. Meanwhile, Wraithlord in the center of this fight, Banshee suppressing all these guardsmen as well. Wraithlord is just having a field day here, swinging away. That AoE damage is so effective against all these models on the field, but now Wraithlord finds itself overextended, getting stuck on that Dreadnought, trying to leave the area, and Stern Guards with the Vengeance rounds very effective against infantry, doing some soft AV damage, and Wraithlord is trying to use its Wraith of Bones to heal back up as quickly as it can. It did manage to out-heal the damage there, but Stern Guards are going to carry on firing. They can't fire on the move. Dreadnought is going to carry on chasing down, and that Wraithlord might not be so lucky. The Warp Spider Exarch going to phase shift once again, but the Stern Guards not getting caught out in that phase shift. Wraithlord is on 104 health, and Stern Guards can easily do that amounts of damage with their soft AV from the Vengeance rounds. Down to just 23 HP. Meanwhile, on the top side, the Orks are pushing in. Wraithlord is still going around 26 HP. It does get popped though by a Vanquisher on the Leman Russ. The Vanquisher turret giving it increased range, but can only do damage to a single target, reducing its AoE to near non-existent. A very good upgrade nonetheless. The Assault Cannon Terminator though is going to come out. The Kommando knob just flying through with the grappling hook, actually knocks over Plasma Devastator squad with that grappling hook and goes in for the melee to actually force the squad off. Meanwhile, the Assault Terminators going to get marked by the Inquisitor, and a nuke is going to go down, going to actually kill Black Label here in the end. Potentially, it just about misses him. In fact, the Devastators are so low right now. But these Terminators are potentially going to go down. They are on 3000 HP, which is quite a lot, but at the same time they have no teleport, they have no escape, they cannot retreat. The Kommando knob does fall down here in the end. This Terminator squad still judged though, but with their Power Fist could be very effective against that Leman Russ, but Leman Russ is far too tanky to just kill with Terminator Power Fist by themselves, and Terminators may get away with 2 models. If the Leman Russ would carry on chasing that Executioner turret is so good, or the Vanquisher turret, sorry, not the Executioner. The Vanquisher turret is so good against single targets and very effective at picking off those Terminator models and making them bleed. Meanwhile, the Brightlance weapons team though barely going to escape there with 50 HP, and the Kommando knob falls down once again. The Inquisitor is going to get so much XP here from all the resurrections. At the same time, Red team gained a lot of experience here from just killing the Kommando knob over and over again. Meanwhile, the Force Commander teleporting in hits his hammer hard on the ground. Plasma Devastators, Flaming Tactical Marines moving into the area. This Guardsman squad does need to run away. The Sergeant and the Commissar are still alive on the squad, but for how long? You know, Plasma Devastators landing a brilliant shot there onto the Leman, but the Kommando knob shotgun blast onto these scouts mean the end of them. They are down so low. These scouts are going to go down. They're fully upgraded as well, but the Kommando knob shotgun blast is so effective against infantry. Even scouts who actually have quite a lot of health for infantry are still going to get demolished by it. Meanwhile, the Inquisitor getting knocked back all over the place there. The Fire Prism knocking her back, followed up by the Devastators. The Blade Champion also coming in here without the Armor of Pestilence. He does not have the tankiness needed to even survive for a little bit here, and will probably fall down, or doesn't actually manage to get a nice retreat path and avoid those stick bombs on retreat. One stick bomb would have probably been enough to do it as well. Meanwhile, I imagine a phase shift's about to go down on the top side here from the Warp Spider, where he actually retreats away straight away. He needs 65 energy to phase shift, and he did not have enough. In fact, he doesn't have enough for an Eldritch either, but that'll be a perfect combo later on. You know, Raptors though, with the Aspiring Champion picking off a scout model, as I said earlier, you always want Raptors with an Aspiring Champion. They're just so good at picking off models. You know, the Heretic squad is most likely going to fall down. It's on 3 models, but all the models are so spread apart. Where are these models? Apparently the models are very far back. The Heretic Squad is going to fall down. I'm not sure what was going on with that Heretic Squad, why it was so split apart, but the Force Commander is able to finish off the squad overall, and meanwhile Stick Bombs on retreat, going to barely miss there. And the Force Commander is going to be able to finish off this Bright Lance Weapons team. No, it's going to get away, 68 HP. Meanwhile Terminators coming in for build. Chaos Terminators can be upgraded with either Lightning Claws or with an Auto Cannon. You know, the Assault Cannon Terminators actually gain stun there. One model is going to get left behind, but actually managed to teleport away in the end. Power Melee, very effective against super heavy infantry. These sluggers should really try and get in the face of the squad if they can through Hide the Boys, given that Zeno now has no detection from losing his scout squad. You know, our Plasma Devastators just bleeding Guardsman models. There's still no bunker on the top side, and I feel like there should be one. The blue team down to just 96 VPs, 400 for red team. Blue team are going to need to play a defensive game here, but red team with a Land Raider Redeem might find it easier for them to actually defend themselves, but the Banshee's getting caught out by the friendly fire Plasma Devastators. They will be forced off here in the end, but a bunker could really benefit blue team. They have a lot of models, a lot of easy to bleed models, and they would benefit so much from being able to just reinforce on the field all the time. You know, that's why they're going to go and once again decides to do a phase shift, and he's caught out 3 squads. If he has an Eldritch right now, this would be a prime opportunity to use it, but he actually has 28 red missing from it. Meanwhile, the Leman Russ able to take down the Fire Prism there. The Fire Prism didn't really do too much, it just kind of walked up to it. There's also a Last Cannon Heavy Weapons team as well, which would have helped out against it. Given that Fire Prism only has 500 HP, it is very vulnerable to any kind of high single target damage and very vulnerable to stuns and whatnot. You know, the Vanquisher Leman Russ is going to be pushing them even further forward, but red team will remain in control of the VP and blue team will carry on to lose VPs. You know, the Lightning Claw Terminators here getting a little bit caught out. Vengeance rounds getting used against super heavy infantry, which I believe is the best type of round against super heavy. Kraken rounds are only effective against heavy infantry. I could be wrong on what's the most effective against super heavy, but Vengeance rounds ideally for vehicles and also for super heavy infantry, anything that is quite big. These Chaos Terminators need to go back to base, and some Assault Terminators for Toy Town as retaliation. We could see Lightning Claw Terminators versus Lightning Claw Terminators, 210 power melee damage from both squads. In fact, Lightning Claw Terminators are pretty much the same as Chaos Lightning Claw Terminators. They have the same health, the same damage, the same everything. They just one inspires and one debuffs everything around it. The Banshees getting hit there by that Incendiary Shell, doing some damage over time. Going to force the squad off before they're able to complete the cap here. Meanwhile, some Assault Cannon Terminators are just going to poke off models at long range. The Assault Cannon is very good at picking off models to give the inspiration bonus to nearby Space Marine units or even allied units in general. As nice as it is having a heavy flamer, you need to kill models to get the inspiration buff, and if you're not killing models, you're not inspiring your army. And the main point of Terminators is to inspire the army as well as do a lot of damage. Meanwhile, Seer Council just taking so much damage in order to try and get into this engagement. These looters gonna lose a model or two, but Sluggers on the retreat path of the Seer Council, taking them down to just 3 out of 5 models, trying to retreat to the Land Raider Redeemer, only to run through a field of rocks instead. And the Seer Council is just no more. That rocks was perfectly placed to wipe out a Seer Council this late in the game with a nuke. And Land Raider Redeemer did manage to back away just in time. Meanwhile, the Assault Terminators down the center of the map. The Inquisitor still with the Inferno pistols, our only war gear purchase. Normally this late in the game you do see the Pergassus purchased on the Inquisitor because it gives her extra health by 200. And also the AoE stun is just so powerful, the AoE damage from it as well. You know, Terminators in the center of the map, playing it safe there. Land Raider Redeemer is on the way for Toy Town, but Toy Town should consider getting the Librarian so he can actually warp his Terminators out with the Veil of Time. Oh, not Veil of Time, but with the Gates of Infinity. The 2 Leman Russ is going to be pushing in through mid. Meanwhile, double Commandos here for Black Label. One with a Nob Leader, one without a Nob Leader. Warp Spider going to try and phase shift himself, but if you phase shift your Warp Spider, he is vulnerable to damage and you cannot move, you cannot do anything whatsoever, so you need to be very careful with where and when you use it. A lot of time you can get your Warp Spider killed in the process. Meanwhile, on top side, some power bashing is going to go down here from Zeno. Not that power bashing is needed this late in the game, but 35 VPs for blue team. They are leaving things on a fine edge right now. Meanwhile, another Leman Russ here for Boxy. Inquisitor with massive Leman Russ support needs to put down a bunker and upgrade it to a repair bunker at this point, because only one guardsman squad and one heavy weapons team, that's not going to be enough repair support for 3 tanks in the field. Repair bunker is so useful in that regard that you can repair all your vehicles at the same time. And Steam has disconnected me. Leman Russ is now pushing in against these Raptors. Force Commander a little bit caught out here, decides to teleport away, and these double commandos should have an easy time trying to kill that Chaos Predator, especially when the Angry Leman Russ is also giving some supports, trying to gain away there with 52 HP. But here come the Lightning Claw Terminators, and Phase Shift getting used once again, getting quite a bit of the army here. The Warp Spider not going to last too long, decides to use Eldritch on himself, but actually falls down before the Eldritch is finished casting. Stick Bomber's taking a lot of damage, actually doing a lot of friendly fire damage as well, especially to these Chaos Terminators who have already gone in very aggressively here and now extremely split apart. Managed to get back to the VP here, but there's now 3 Vanquisher Leman Russes on the field. It's going to make it very difficult for these Terminators to actually do too much without getting caught out massively. The Land Raider Redeemer now for Toy Town back onto the field, and Blue Team are falling far behind on VPs. They're down to just 14. They need to make a move soon. The Inquisitor is on their way towards the top, and there's only a Land Raider Redeemer here. And I say there's only a Land Raider Redeemer here. There's a super unit in the game. It could easily stop the Inquisitor, especially with the Frag Assault to knock her away. Meanwhile, one Leman Russ is in risk of falling down. The triple Vanquisher Leman Russes are all going to get path blocks on each other. You need to be very careful when using 3 of them together. Meanwhile, the Chaos Havocs do get that final shot needed. It is worth them dying in order to actually finish off that Leman Russ. The Leman Russ is worth so much more. You know, some very late game snipers here for Zeno. They're not even level, but there's a very interesting late game purchase here for him. I guess he needs some repair support or some scouts to do something. Meanwhile, back at base, or back at the natural VP there of Blue Team, Dire Avengers and Banshees did push in using a webway gate in the bottom side of the map, and also is going to get called in. That might be a dead looter here. A looter looks like it will be able to get away overall. Meanwhile, the Commandos, the looter tank altogether, Red Team are unable to actually force them off this position, and a Dire Avenger squad will fall down this late in the game. Meanwhile, the also in fact is actually just going to get wasted there, completely falling down before she's even able to get any upgrade or do anything whatsoever. Now, Dire Avenger squad looks like be able to get away there. The Vanquisher Leman Russ is missing their mark several times there. The webway gate will go undetected for now, but Commando's tier 3 detectors could easily go out and try and hunt down webway gates with their superior detection. Meanwhile, Bill going for double Chaos Predators, and I feel like this is a big mistake for him. As much as there's a lot of Leman Russes on the field, there's also commanders with missile launchers going around. The Commander Nob himself can upgrade to a missile launcher. These commandos can easily get the Nob leaders to get missile launchers as well. And if these Predators show rear armor, the missile burst from those 2 squads along the Commando Nob itself is going to be a dead squad, and Raptors arming themselves with melter guns. I also don't like this purchase as well from Bill. I think the melter Raptors are a little bit on the weak side, to be honest. They're very good as tank hunters against squishy tanks such as fire prisms and units such as that, but against Leman Russes they're not very effective given how tanky a Leman Russ is. Meanwhile, the Predators are showing rear armor here. There's just so many tanks out on the field right now for both players, or for both teams rather. But these Predators showing rear armor, you need to be very careful. The Vanquisher rear armor hits will just be absolutely brutal. You know, our Plasma Devastator shot actually hitting the army quite big. There's also a flying unit just flying around there. Meanwhile, the Nurgle Nuke going to go down here from Bill, not very effective against vehicles. Only a heavy melee, which does 50% damage to vehicles. Ideally, you want to phase shift an Eldritch mass Leman Russes the next time an Eldritch is available for triple Wipple Nipple Sipple. You know, Plasma Devastators destroying the Stern Guard veterans here. Going to get away there with 2 models. The Force Commander from Zeno does finish off another 2 models. Meanwhile, another Plasma Devastator shot is absolutely brutal. And these last cannon Predators very effective against super heavy infantry and heavy infantry when they actually land their twin link shot. It's very effective against everything when they land a twin link shot. And there's Looter Tank taking so much damage now. That's just 50 HP. Backs away here. You know, all the units are going to crowd around that Land Raider Redeemer. It's just asking for a nuke to just go and hit it. Meanwhile, last cannon is hitting Chaos Predator here, slowing it down by 40 or 50%, sorry, 50% even. that lead. Lehman Russ is definitely going to fall down. The last cannon focusing down the wrong Predator here. That Predator should definitely go down, but it's actually focusing down the wrong one again. The Inferno pistol dart on the Inquisitor. Going to be pushing further forward. Takes down one Predator. Takes down a second Predator. Level 7 Inquisitor at this point. And again, these Plasma Devastator shots are absolutely brutal here for Zeno. Level 4 Plasma Devastators could always use for the Emperor on the squad as well, given that he is a Force Commander and Red Team are just falling behind in terms of unit counts. Only Zeno is the one with a massive force. Meanwhile, Blue Team have got a massive force themselves. At the same time, Blue Team only on 4 VPs. They need to be extremely careful and tread very lightly here, especially against the Eldar, who can do various amounts of tricky things, such as a phase shift on top of the entire blob when they group around this Land Raider Redeemer. You know, these Assault Terminators doing a lot of work here for Zeno throughout the entire game. If you could give resources to allies, that would help out a lot, although Red Team are extremely requisition staffed at this point. You got double Commando knobs coming in for the Commando squads. A grenade thrown down from these Dire Avengers, not actually doing anything whatsoever. There's plenty of tank hunting abilities now for a Black Label. Can easily counter any kind of can easily counter any kind of Predator that rolls out the shop now for Red Team. You know, our last kind of firing away Librarian is going to be using the gate to try and knock back units and force them to unset up, but the spotters are still alive after all this time, using that tier 3 artillery shell to knock units away. But Looter tank also with knockback ability. Red Team are desperately trying to make a big push here, but they're just going to be heavily outnumbered. But all they need to do is actually land the cap just once. All the single target damage here makes it very difficult to actually do that properly. Meanwhile, Autumn Bomber is going to go down, going to catch out a few units. Is used on the frontline units only to try and buy some time, but Red Team is still not going in for the capture whatsoever. These Assault Terminators are just uncontested on the field right now. The Chaos Terminators with Lightning Claws are currently on the top side of the map, trying to come in for a flank instead. Meanwhile, Devastators are forced to move position. These Assault Terminators doing an insane amount of damage, about 200 heavy melee damage for the squad overall this late in the game, but no AoE. But these Terminators with their Storm Shields do have extra health and health regen over those that do not, or over these Chaos Terminators who do not have Storm Shields. Meanwhile, the play champion actually switching from the Plague Fist over to the Sword of Undeath now. Instead, these Raptors jumping into melee combat, except for they are armed with Melter weapons. These Melter weapons are very effective in melee combat. The Raptor squad is actually just going to die straight up. You know, the play champion does manage to get a few zombies from that Sword of Undeath. The play champion going in for a capture here, but without the Armor of Pestilence, he will get knocked over. And he is getting the Plague Fist once again, but the Plague Fist is not going to be enough to support him alone here. Shimmer Orb pressure at the same time onto the lateral there of Red Team, but the Force Commander is already on it. With Standguard Veterans in the area, the Vault Spider is taking a lot of damage, is already down to 260, 100 HP now, and is forced off the VP. Tactical Marines trying to go in for the capture at the same time. Meanwhile, the Commander grappling hooks himself there to get Red Team away from the camp, but the Force Commander with a Battle Cry activated, knocking back these Tactical Marines, and they show no fear is activated, but the Tactical Marines retreat away instead. Your Dire Avengers getting knocked away. Terminators are trying to go in for the capture here for VPs for Blue Team, and Dire Avengers are just going down. Red Team are really throwing away their units in order to try and win the game at this point. Terminators are just taking so much damage here for Zeno. One model actually dies after teleporting. The squad now down to just 1 out of 3 models, but the Commander knob going up towards the top side of the map here does prevent Red Team from being able to win the game here. Red Team were able to secure their natural, but did lose the top VP, giving them a 1-to-1 cap. They need a 2-to-1 cap just for a small amount of time if they want to win this game. And a triple Wipple Nipple Sipple going for an Orks here, and I feel like an Orks is not a very good choice, given that he has no army for the Orks to actually go and support. Meanwhile, Lightning Claw Terminators are going to fall down in this engagement. Not sure what they were doing there, and Red Team are just going to concede, knowing that they don't actually have enough units to push further forward. Red Team will just throw in the towel, and Blue Team are just going to win the game on 4 VPs just by having the superior army and just being able to keep their units alive for much longer.